Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny farm. This year we are focusing on creating a cottage tea style cut flower garden. And what I mean by that is just have the gardens overflowing at all times with beautiful, full, lush, roughly blooms that are scented. When we started this back cut flower garden in spring of 2021, I knew that I wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing to the eyes at all times, to grow the perennials and the annuals kind of mixed in together in borders. We do also grow, some cut flowers like the annual cut flowers in rows in the center of the cut flower garden. But for the most part, I just wanted to have a beautiful overflowing cottage garden. So this past winter, we did add in a garden house behind this cut flower garden, which also helped us create more gardens around that garden house. And that's what sparked the idea of creating a cottage tea style garden, because I want it to be a space where you would just want to sit in to have your tea or coffee, and a spot that our family could just enjoy. In last week's video, we talked a lot about the summer annuals that we are planting in this particular garden. Now, if you're new here, we also do have a big perennial cut flower garden out in the front of our property, as well as lots of flower borders that are filled with perennials and cut flowers. For this week, we are just going to be focusing on working in this back cut flower garden and starting to add in all of that color. We did pick up some pretty flowering trees that we're going to be planting together. So make yourself your favorite drink, and I'm just going to bring you along for it all. The first thing that we're going to be planting in this border that brings color, at least here in northern Indiana, it brings color usually from June right until frost. It has gorgeous blooms, and that is a miniature rose. This was a Mother's Day gift from my mom. Isn't that so pretty? So a few years ago, she gave me a miniature rose, and I planted it right in here on this side of the border. So I thought, we are just going to replicate it and plant another one on this side. We have our planting hole ready, our rose, and now we are just going to add a little bit of slow release fertilizer and get our beautiful rose planted. I picked up this little bistro set, I think it was like 2 years ago at a garage sale. And as you can see, this seat has started rotting out a little bit. So I would love to hear if you guys have any suggestions on something to replace the seats on this little bistro set with, because I think it would be very sweet to just have a little coffee sitting area back here with this set. And since we're back here, I thought we would open the winter sown poppies together. Do you remember when we planted poppy seeds 3 different ways? We did one with the ice cube method, we did one with just direct sowing, and then we also did some in milk jugs. And just look at them. They grew so beautifully. So I think we're going to get those planted today as well. We're going to transplant the poppies into these borders to bring a pop of color to our cottage gardens in June and even into July. But this one is called Shirley Pandora poppies. They are such a pretty color. We're just going to pop them out of this jug and plant them in here. The poppy seeds that we had planted using the ice cube method, you can see there's a couple that came through, but for the most part we had the best success with the winter sowing method. We're going to be removing the poppies the same way that we had done with the sweet pea seedlings. We just bring our little shovel in here. But I have done this successfully for quite a few years, and I really enjoy using this method. We have our first poppies ready to be planted into the garden. We have all of our poppy seedlings planted. Do you see that one there? There's about 10 clumps throughout this border. Now, I am not a professional. I'm simply a gardener who enjoys experimenting with different ways to garden and sharing with all of you things that I have found success in. So I will keep you guys updated on how all of these poppy seedlings are doing throughout this season. Well, friends, it is a new day, and I wanted to give you an update on the poppies that we transplanted into this border yesterday out of the winter sown jugs because they're doing so good. And I wanted to share some of the perennials that we picked up in our most recent greenhouse visit together because most of them are going in this border as well. So let's go take a look. We are going to walk past the perennials for now and look at the poppies that we transplanted. This is one of them. Look at how good they're doing. So we did get rain last night, which helped a lot. Now I did want to show you something. So this is why I prefer growing poppies in winter sown jugs versus just planting seeds straight into the garden, because obviously these seeds washed out and there's a poppy growing right there. In this area of the garden, we also did direct sow some poppy seeds this past winter right in here, but we did scuff up this soil because, as you can see, we're adding in a picket fence. Now there is only one poppy that germinated from that. So the poppies that we winter sowed into containers had the best results overall. But let's take a peek at the perennials that we got. We did come home with 3 hydrangeas because I couldn't believe the prices on these. So we got 2 of the little lime punch panicle hydrangeas. And these 2 are actually going out on the west side of the greenhouse. But for this garden border, we did plant some peony roots in here last fall and they're doing very good. So got another peony to plant in here along with those, so we have quite a bit of peony color later in spring. This one is Shirley Temple peony. Never grown this one, so I'm very excited to add that to the collection. So I brought this one home, wasn't quite sure where I'm going to put it, but I already do have one incredible hydrangea and absolutely love it. And this one is storm-proof incredible hydrangea. And after I brought it home, I was like, you know what? So last fall, I did save 2 spots, one here and one here for hydrangeas. So the incredible hydrangea is going here, and then we'll have to go back and get another one to place right there. And our last one. I was quite excited to find this one. I had never seen variegated leaves on iris before, but it's kind of a blue iris, even though it has white in its name. I'm guessing it's maybe because of the variegated leaves. So I was hoping that we could maybe split this one in half and have 2 bunches growing in this border. We already do have a lot of spring bulbs planted in these borders, and then we will have our flowering tree that we planted last night. There's some alliums that are just getting ready to bloom, and then we'll have our iris. Right after that, our peonies will be blooming, and then in summer we'll have our hydrangeas blooming in here. But later this spring, after we're no longer expecting frost, we're going to fill these borders with dahlias and salvia that will bloom right along with the hydrangeas and other summer blooming things. Let's get these 3 perennials placed, and then we are going to take these 2 hydrangeas over to the greenhouse. All right, friends, we are done planting along this pathway, at least for this week. So our peony that we planted went down the pathway, and we'll look at it in just a second. But these are 2 peonies that we planted together last fall. And this was actually from a peony, a Sarah Bernhardt peony that we had dug up and divided. This is one of the divisions, but look at it. It has some buds. So I don't know if it will actually bloom this spring. I'll keep you updated on it. Right in here, we have an Alnwick rose and our hydrangea, which will have another hydrangea right there eventually. But this is where our 2 iris ended up. We were able to successfully divide this one in half. The picket fence will eventually completely back up this border, but these 2 iris will be offset from the hydrangeas. I absolutely love just the color that these variegated leaves bring to this area. Even when it's not in bloom, it's going to bring so much interest. But these blooms are supposed to have a very nice scent, so we'll see once it blooms. As we continue on down the pathway, we'll have our hydrangea. Right here's where the Shirley Temple peony ended up at. And then right here where I have this black container, that is where we're going to be planting another rose. And I already have it ordered. It is gorgeous. I can't wait to share it with you. And then we'll have another peony. With all of the perennials that we planted in here this week, we should continuously have something blooming in here. And of course, we'll also come in here with our annuals, and that will bring nice pops of color. But I wanted to repeat, have quite a few peonies. So we have peonies blooming in here at the same time, and we'll have the iris blooming at the same time. We will have quite a few alliums in bloom here at the same time, hydrangeas, roses. So even though we have quite a few different perennials in these borders, we planted a lot of each variety, like a lot of peonies and quite a few roses. So that way we'll have a lot of the same things blooming at the same time, which will still make it restful to look at. Harley just got finished putting in the arbor trellis out here by the greenhouse. What do you guys think? Oh my goodness, I just love the way it frames in this view. So we are going to be planting a clematis on it, but this arbor trellis was actually here when we moved to our home almost 10 years ago, but they just had it randomly sitting up against the house. But we've painted it and moved it out here, and I absolutely love it. We actually had it sitting over here for about 5 years, and I thought, oh, I think we should just move it out here. But I want to show you the hydrangeas. We picked up this Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea in one of our recent greenhouse trips that we had taken together. So it says that it grows 5 to 6 feet tall and wide. And I had wanted to plant 2 hydrangeas in here, but the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, I'm just afraid if I plant 2 Gatsby Gal hydrangeas in here, it'll be too much and too big. So this one is going up by the patio, which is up there. We are trying to create a hydrangea room up there, and I think the Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea will be perfect in there. And I think these little lime punch hydrangeas will be way better proportioned because, they only grow 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So they will probably just both gently be brushing up against the bird bath. This pink color against the white greenhouse will be very striking. So I told you wrong, it grows 3 to 5 feet tall and wide. But I still think it'll be a lot better proportion than the oak leaf hydrangeas. We're just going to leave the 2 hydrangeas sitting there, and then I'll get them planted tomorrow. But the clematis that we are planting on this arbor is, oh, it's so beautiful, and it grows 9 to 12 feet tall. So it will definitely scramble up over this trellis arbor, and that purple will be very striking against all of the white that we have going on in the background. All right, friends, we are going to get this clematis planted on the trellis, and then I am going to leave you with some footage of setting up our roadside flower stand for Mother's Day weekend, because it is our busiest weekend of the year, and it's also my favorite weekend at the flower stand because so many people stop by to treat their moms for Mother's Day or that special lady in their life. So thank you for just joining me around the garden today, friends. I hope it inspired you. I would love to hear what you are currently planting in your own garden. Have an amazing week, and I will see you back here real soon.